Hello everyone and welcome to another Feedami video. In this video we will be talking about Google Shopping countries, the language and the currency. For example, did you know that targeting non-native languages and currencies will allow you to only get 10% possible impressions? That is because Google considers you as a non-native merchant. So what you can do is, for example, if you're a US business and your feed is in English and you're using US dollars, then if you're targeting the UK, which is then Great British Pounds, Google will convert the currency in the local currency, but considering you're not a local merchant in Google's eyes from that perspective, you only get 10%. So that means 1,000 impressions in the US, you get only 100 impressions in the UK. So it's rather limiting. So this method of targeting other countries is pointless, so don't invest your time in doing it, even though it's relatively easy to set up. So what we want to talk about now is the consistency of the language. So for example, if you're in Netherlands or Belgium, you could use the language Dutch. But you can also actually use English words if it is commonly used within the dictionary or the local language. So make sure that the whole website is in Flemish or Dutch and that your feed is in the same language. However, attributes that have a default value such as age group, gender, for example, gender is female, male and unisex, so those values can be in English. They will be automatically translated into Flemish or Dutch when the user is searching in that local language. But the rest of the values all need to be in Dutch. So what do you do if the country is not listed? Well, you're kind of limited in targeting Google Shopping in that case. So either you have to wait until Google Shopping is available in your country, and there's a full list on the website, which I will share the link in the description. But if the country is not listed, then the only option is to use Google Ads, text ads, the display, and YouTube. Did you know that you can actually use any language within any country? That's relatively new since I think the end of last year, beginning this year. So that means if, for example, you're in the UK, we know that there are a lot of Polish people searching in Polish. So you can actually submit a Polish data feed and also, of course, make sure that the website is also in Polish. Then you can get search traffic in Polish language for your Polish feed. That is very beneficial if you know there are a lot of people, Polish people, for example, searching for your products. Or, for example, in LA, there are lots of Chinese people that like to search for specific things in Chinese rather than English. So if you know there's a big market in that specific language, you can use a different language than by default. So it's do some research, what countries, which languages are available. And then you can set that up. So you can use the local currency, of course, but you can then use non-native languages. So how do you target multiple countries? Well, the best way is actually to either set up a different website, or if you're using Shopify, you can use subdomains or folders that have a different language for each country. You can use apps for that, and also the data feed can then pull that information out. So depending on your e-commerce platform, you can then use different languages for different countries and set it up. So the key thing to remember is that if you, for example, you're using subdomains and your website is, let's say, example.com, and you have then a French feed for a French language, for example, and then it is fr.example.com, you can actually register the same domain feed within the same account. So you don't have to set up multiple accounts. This will avoid any potential suspensions because it's much easier to have a suspension if you have like 10 accounts, for example, versus just one and have all the countries in there. However, if you have a different top level domain, let's say example.fr for France, then you do need to have a different account. And the best way to do that is to use an advanced account. So I will share a link in the description where you can set up your advanced account and how to do that. But that is best to do it that way and not to create a new account separate, because then when you're using an advanced account, Google already has an association with the main account that you're already established. So getting approved is much easier. If you set up a separate account, then it is more likely that you get suspended if, for example, you have certain trust factors not in place. So those are all the points that I recommend and what you can do with Google Shopping and the targeting of multiple countries. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact, and thank you for watching.